It's the Paris Chong Show. It's the Paris Chong Show, show. It's the Paris Chong Show.
Paris is close,
I
how it
have
is,
to be
close
close.
to like a store. It's like,
No.
it's just my mind. And I was like, I need to pick her up. I should have picked her
No,
up.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I would have this. Oh, here comes Disco, my sidekick. He's my Ed McMahon.
Hello, cutie
darling.
Disco.
Hello, darling.
Hello,
Oh, so
cutie.
cute. I just love you. Okay. Hello, and welcome back to the Paris Chong Show. I'm yet with another dear friend and amazing photographer, and this girl is a real pro. I want to introduce you to the incredibly talented photographer, Mona Kuhn. Hi,
It's
Mona.
a pleasure to be here with the iconic Paris. And
Mona-
Disco.
and Disco. So he's
Look
more
at
iconic than I
cutie.
am. I know he's adorable. Do you have an animal?
Yes, I have a German Shepherd.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know you had a dog.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh my
wow.
God,
So
I
you're a
love
dog lover.
her.
I don't know
I
how
am a
anybody
big
can
dog
be a dog
lover.
lover.
I massage her.
You do?
I hug
What's her
her. I
name?
kiss her. Abby.
Abby. Oh, you
I'll
could have
bring-
brought her.
Oh, look at this! You see,
I know
he was like
loves you.
surrendering.
Yeah, he loves massages. I like that. I like them too. He gives me massages at night. He just walks on my back. Well, I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for coming in. I know it's your day off.
I love being
Oh,
here
he's
with
gonna be
you.
up there with you,
Look,
so you're gonna have hair all over
oh
your
my
clothes.
God, here we go.
We need a picture, Don. Okay, so no, you have 7 books, right? 7 books?
I stopped counting because I always
Oh,
think that
geez.
I'm always working on the next one.
Okay,
I think technically it's 10.
10 books.
I know it's too much,
That's
right?
incredible.
It's a lot.
No, it's
yeah.
not. No,
it's
well,
a
you've
lot
been
of
doing this for a
work.
long time. You've been photographing for so many years, right?
I think it's a lot of work. It's a lot of support
But you have
from
incredible
the-
publishers. You've
from
worked
the
with Steidl.
publishers. Yeah. So
How many-
so I work with Gerhard in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
I went to see him, and then we started working together on the first book. Came out in 2004.
Wow.
And then since then I was so grateful, right? It happened early in my career, and I still remember presenting the images to him on the table, laying all of the images out, and he looked and looked and looked, and I was really thinking, this is never gonna happen. And
Oh.
a lot of the books, while I was waiting for him, a lot of the other books were museum publications, like Steidl. At the time, he was doing a lot of museum publications with the funding of those institutions. And I said, there's no way I will ever get a book here. And then he looked, and he was quiet, and he was looking. And then he looked at me and he said, this deserves to become a book.
Wow.
And I was like, and I almost like dismantled. I mean, I still nowadays remember like just getting my knees weak about it. And then I felt very grateful for that opportunity. So it really speeded up my process.
Right.
So when that book was done, I started working on the next one, or not really the next book, but the next series.
Yeah.
I think that it was an injection of energy for a young artist.
So
It
did
really
you were
was.
doing just books before you even were doing art shows?
No, I was doing
with
well,
together
yeah,
with the art show?
that's why I kind of corrected. So I usually work on a concept or a visual story.
Mhm.
Then I bring that to the publisher, and
Wow.
at times it becomes a book. I have some series that did not become books, but most likely, or there's a good chance to become a book. And then from those books, which usually a book has, I don't know, 80 to 100 images,
Mhm.
and then the galleries pick maybe 20 that they think are the strongest for their collectors.
Wow.
So it has been a little bit of that.
What's your bestseller? Your best-selling book?
All of them have been good in different areas, and
Mhm.
that has been also really a good learning curve for me. So the first books that I did with Steidl, they have had different ways of selling it in
Right.
different markets. Nowadays it's so easy because we can see where it's selling. Like some have sold more in Europe,
Yeah.
some have been more favorable in the US.
It's funny like that, isn't it?
Yeah, but then I also got approached by Thames and Hudson.
Wow.
So I went back to Gerhard Steidl and I said, Gerhard, what do you think? Should I do this book with Thames and Hudson? And he's like, why not? So it's like, why not? You should do. You're young. You have,
Yeah,
a lot of energy. And he also said, I don't want to do a coffee table book. I want to do the monographs.
yeah.
And I said, great. So that liberated me to work with Thames and Hudson, but also work with Stanley Barker
Mhm.
in England. And I also did wonderful book with TBW books, previously out of Oakland, San Francisco area, and I think now they're more based in Mexico.
You've been lucky because a
Yeah.
lot of people don't get that opportunity. No matter even some
Yes.
amazing photographers, they don't have these kind of publishers going after them to do books. You've been
Yes.
really lucky that way.
Yes.
But
And
the work is amazing,
yeah,
though, of course.
and I think what you mentioned, like what sells the best and so on, I think they all hit a
Different markets.
different market.
Yeah.
Like the Thames and Hudson, they call it a retrospective book, but it's obviously not.
Hmm.
It's like a compilation of 8 series that we did during the pandemic, which was amazing.
That's good.
Um, and so that one is a little bit more broad
Hmm.
market. I would say that the Steidl is more museum, bookstores,
Hmm.
more niche, art niche. Uh, TBW also was a great to do with them, a little more indie, like you would
Yeah.
enter other areas of the market that I'm also interested in reaching out and letting them know about the work. And uh, Paul Schick at the time told me, do something that you would that would never be accepted with some of your other publishers.
And then what did you
So that
do?
gave me, so I did a book of nudes of a man.
Oh,
So
wow.
the whole book
I
is
love
one
that.
guy that I photographed, really gorgeous guy. I mean,
Thank
gorgeous.
God.
Yeah, yeah. No,
This
but
really
gorgeous.
hor I photographed this really
But
horrible man, and,
yeah, but wait,
no one bought
but
the book, it was weird.
I think gorgeous in the sense, not gorgeous physically, not
Perfect. Okay.
facade
Yeah.
gorgeous,
Oh,
but like a deeper. Like he came
who
in the
was it?
studio. I thought his name is Charles. He came in the studio, and then I photographed him here in Los Angeles,
Uh-huh.
and it was the first time that he was posing in the
How
nudes.
did you find him?
I found him through a friend in common,
Okay.
and then he came in, but it was also the first time that we met, and he didn't want to talk.
Really?
Yes, it was super amazing.
Charles, the mysterious nude model.
Yes, and he came in, and a little bit different kind of guy
Mhm.
and then he came over to the set, and then I started mentioning, oh, you look at this, or turn this way, or giving a
Yeah.
little direction. And then he made, maybe he was Indian or so, and he made a positioning, a gesture,
Mhm.
as he's kind of channeling something, and
Yeah.
and maybe we shouldn't talk. And so I went quiet, and I just photographed everything that he was doing. And it was just like click, click,
So there wasn't even any
click.
music
There
playing,
was no
just
music. It was just
this?
this thing. And it was a
Wow.
gift. Like he gave me this gift that became then the book. I mean,
That's
it's just
really cool.
amazing.
I know it's I always, being a curator, and I have to look at so many images every week, so
Yes. Yes.
I as a curator get kind of bored, and selling art, I get a little bored of always just seeing nude women.
Yeah.
Not that I
Yes. Yeah.
ever, no one in the world opposes to that, but it's nice to have sometimes nude men. I always tell people
Yeah.
a lot of photographers will get portfolio reviews and it's all nude women, and I'll say, would you ever consider shooting men? And they're like,
Yes.
oh, I would. I just never really, I don't really know anyone to do that. But I've sent a lot of men out there to shoot other men, just because I think it's good to be well rounded with your
Yes.
with the nude work.
Yeah.
It shouldn't always just be
Yeah.
focused on women, although the female form's one of the most beautiful things on the planet, and that's probably why so much nude. But um, I love nude photography. Unfortunately, I can't sell it at the gallery I'm at, but I do know that there's a lot of the people that collect it. Um, so when did you start, like, what made you wanna start shooting nudes?
Yeah. So I think for me, it was an obvious thing.
Really?
I was, I in college, I started taking a little bit more photography, art history
Yeah, and you
classes.
went to school in America, right?
I went to
Yeah.
Ohio State
Yeah.
in the Midwest.
It's
I actually
shocking how
loved
many
it.
creative people are come from Ohio,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I like to hear that because I had a good time there.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times people assume, oh, you need to be in New York right away.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, really? Because I really wanted to focus on the study. So that
Yes.
was good.
So
It
you
was
weren't
great.
distracted by the
Yeah.
magnificent New York City.
And then I think that people forgot that your body is just there. Like I was in college, I was with my good friends,
Mhm.
and we're like, oh, we want to do art. So what is art? Oh, art, from art history, from just looking at things, like, oh, why don't we all do something together? And why don't we use the expression of the body to
Right.
create something? So I think it also comes maybe from experimental art in the 70s. And back then in Ohio, my boyfriend had a warehouse at the time. So we had a place where we could photograph. No one was bothering us, and
Right.
I could experiment. And the idea of the body as a canon of art, and the fact that it was so easily accessible to us, is just our willingness to do
Right.
so. So it seemed that we had access to a canon of art right away.
So would you pose nude also?
Yeah, so we all
Yeah,
we
you
all
would
just
always just
did.
post for
Yeah,
each other?
I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
because they were also doing their.
How fabulous, a bunch of young naked people.
Well, yeah, and it was, and I think it was a group of girls
Oh,
too.
really?
So we were very
It's so
comfortable.
cool how free everybody is with their with
Well,
the
we're in
yeah.
college, right?
Yeah.
Why that's what you kind of,
I
not
f
that I want to tell people
yeah,
to do
yeah,
that
no,
in
no,
college,
yeah.
but the idea sparked.
Mhm.
There was nothing blocking it. There was nothing wrong with it. And
Right.
we then started creating these beautiful portfolios of details of the body or expressions. Or um, his warehouse was next to a Japanese artist, sculptor, that would also work with the body. She would put parts of the body on molds
That's cool.
and then do bronze sculptures. So the body for us was equivalent to art.
Do you still have those photos?
Yes, I do.
Did
And
you
I,
ever show them?
I did not show them because I think they were, early.
Private.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, no,
well,
it
you
was
just
just
don't feel like they
early.
were represent
Yeah,
what you've
I
become.
think it was just like playing.
Wouldn't that be cool though to show it? Like
I can't.
early
Well,
early
I mean,
nudes?
when we did the retrospective book,
Yeah.
the with Thames and Hudson, we thought about, oh, should I put some early work? And uh, I think that they are not really that language that I then
Right.
developed. And I think that, yes, it's fun, or maybe after I'm dead, if someone wants to see it.
Oh,
But
no.
I think that right now it feels a little silly for me to be showing
Yeah.
immature
Yeah.
sketches.
Right.
So it wasn't yet perfected, and it's not that
Are
special
you still
yet.
friends with these people?
Yes.
They must
Yeah.
be so happy for you that you became so successful as an artist.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're happy.
Yeah,
They're happy about it.
are
Yeah.
you the most successful one out of the group?
Okay, so this is kind of shocking. Then n- from the group in general, not all of them wanted to become artists. They
Right.
were studying different things, and we all went our own way. But from my uh, photography class, right? From the
Mhm.
photography classes and the art history, I'm the only one doing something
Oh,
in the
really?
arts. So that's
So that's
that's.
cool. They
I
must
mean,
talk about you a lot.
but I also feel this responsibility in a way, in a twisted way. I feel that because I am doing it and it's working out for me, or because of support, or of galleries at
Yeah.
publishers, or because I have had this opportunity come my way, I feel responsible for all of them.
Oh, really?
That I that
What
I
are
that
they
I
what are
don't waste that opportunity. You
yeah.
see, that I don't.
But they must be so proud of you. I'm sure they brag about you all the time. What did they end up doing? And do you
Well,
know?
they did so many different things.
It's
One
curious. I'm
became a
curious. Okay,
teacher,
they're from the
and
art class, from the photo
yeah,
class. Okay.
yeah.
A photo
Yeah,
teacher?
because some of them, no, not
Yeah,
photography.
okay.
Some of them were taking photography just to take
Okay, just to
photography.
get the
Yeah.
credit.
So another
Yeah.
credit. So some of one became a doctor
Oh,
in
wow.
medicine. Another one was in psychology. The other one was in a- an athlete, so sports
Oh,
manager.
so they all
So
kind
there
of
was
did
all
some
kind
cool
of,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Do they collect any of your art, any of these people? Oh, they need
No,
to.
no,
They need to.
no.
So now, you just did, well, speaking of your art, I love your art. I have a piece hanging at the Gansevoort Hotel. I'll be there next week for
Yes,
the event
thank
and doing it.
you.
Yeah. So I'm going to try to sell it for you. And
It
then,
was such a
it's
great
such a great piece too.
project.
It's a
Yeah,
really beautiful
yeah.
project. And then you just got done doing a really cool event over at the Getty for the book, for a book,
That was so
exhibition.
nice.
I think that's cool that they're doing book
Yes.
exhibitions.
So it's an exhibition of books,
Mhm.
110 historical books of women
Mhm.
that are photographers and have also uh, presented the works into books, and it's just fascinating to see from 1920s all the way to 1999.
That's cool.
And all of those books in this exhibition you can touch, you can open, which makes the exhibition so tactile
Yeah.
and intimate, right? When you go watch a exhibition of photographs on the wall, they're framed,
Yeah, you can't
they're
touch it.
protected, you
Yeah.
cannot touch it. You there's a certain distance so you can see the whole thing. And this one is so intimate. They have couches, you can bring the book to your lap, you
That's
have an
interesting.
intimate
I even
relationship.
I'm nervous when people
Like
touch
with
books, books.
disco.
Yeah, I know. So they don't make you wear white gloves. You can just touch
No,
the books.
it's
That's
just like
wild.
that.
Even
So
the
you can
old books.
even, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the rare ones are behind
Yeah.
glass, but a lot of them you can, they have multiples.
Yes.
So they are allowing people, and it's at the Getty Research Institute.
So and I just I know you said it's going till May 11th,
It's
right?
going until May
That's so
11.
great.
And then they included in this exhibition, in addition to the historical women photographers, they included, I think, about 20 Southern California female
Oh,
photographers.
that's really cool. I didn't know
So
that.
that's when I call it like we got into the children's desk.
Yeah.
Because the books are laid out on desk. So the children's desk is there, and I'm just super happy that mine got in the mix.
Yeah. No, who's your hero? Do you have a photography hero that you admire?
I
Like
have
your
so
favorite?
many.
Who inspired you the most?
Well, I do like, I mean, every 3 months, I have another muse or another imaginary mentor, right?
Okay.
When you ask me that question right now, the first one that comes to mind is Lee Miller. So they
Okay.
have one of her books there.
Oh, good.
But they have Susan
I love
Meiselas. They
her.
have, I mean, they have so many. I mean, it's endless, all of them.
I love
I
Susan
mean,
Meiselas' work. I've been trying to get that just carnival
Dianita
strippers.
Singh.
Yeah.
They have Dianita's work there.
So what's coming up next for your art projects?
So I am finishing up my next series.
Okay.
I'm finishing up my next series. I'm gonna take a step back. My previous series called King's Road was gave me the opportunity of also incorporating, in addition to the photography, also multimedia presentation and projections,
Okay.
and also gave
Oh,
me,
that's so cool. Is that what I saw
yeah,
at Bergamot? I
exactly.
loved that. That was
So
so special.
that opened up a whole other,
Yeah, that was
that opened up, like,
amazing.
I have been doing photography for so long. I know
Mhm.
how to make a print. We all know how
I'm
to,
sorry.
we all know how to put it, install it on the wall,
Yeah.
and then and talk about it. But I also, a little bit after the pandemic, wanted to push myself into new things. What else can we do with
Right.
photography? So I created this 12-minute movie from stills that is then projected, and it bleeds into the wall, multiple walls. So it's a more of a
It's a beautiful
immersive
story.
immersive
Sorry, Disco's just getting right
presentation.
in there. I'm
I
so
like
sorry.
disco. I like the
I know
disco is keeping me warm. I like
I know
that.
he's so cute. He feels like a rabbit, doesn't he? Like
Yeah,
his hair looks like it'd be that kind of hard
it
coarse
feels
hair,
like
but
a
actually when
baby. I
you
love
touch it, it's
it.
like a little rabbit's foot. So
The little ear.
well, so
Yeah,
that's what you're working
and
on more.
and then I also worked.
You should do that at a museum, like the
Well,
Palm
it was
Springs
at a
Museum.
museum. It was at
Which one?
the. It opened at the.
Well, I'm behind then, since it was
Oh,
already at a
oh,
museum.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll I'll update you really quick. It opened at the Arts Design and Architecture Museum in Santa Barbara, because
Okay.
they were connected with the archive that I incorporated into the series. But then it went to the Kunsthaus, and it was
Oh,
curated by Steidl,
so
and it was
amazing.
4 floors of that building. It was four
When
floors.
was that?
It was in 2023.
Wow.
It was one of my best exhibitions. I
I
mean,
know. I wish I
working
could have
also with
seen
a
that.
curator that
Yeah,
knows me for more than 20 years. So that was insane.
that's insane.
But then it also went to Paris, New York, isn't that?
Yeah,
Atlanta, and Los Angeles.
that's incredible.
And now it's in the museum in China called Lianzhou Museum
The
of
same
Photography. Yes, with the,
Wow, it really traveled.
yes,
I loved it. I really, really
and the
loved it.
fun thing of it is, like, once you project things, then you also need sound, right?
Yeah.
And then so I work with a composer, happens to be my husband,
Aw.
Boris Zacho. So so
Keep it in the
he
family.
keep it together, and he score did an original score for the 12 minute
Wow. Well, he better.
projections.
Boris better do that for his wife.
Yes,
The
and
music
then
was gorgeous.
it was. I mean, it's so incredible as a photographer to work with a composer and understand how it influences people when they enter. I'm
Mhm.
used to, even if it's a book or the pagination or the
Yeah.
sequence, I'm used to tell a story with images. Uh, and in a certain way, you dramatize a presentation
Yeah.
of the work, the way the pacing of it in the wall and what you're trying to convey when you put an image next to another and the messages in between that you
Yeah.
want the viewers to kind of get. But music, when you add music, suddenly the viewer that comes in, their pace of walk matches the
Yeah.
pace of the sound that they hear. I mean, they don't even notice it, but I noticed because I saw so many people. They would
Yeah.
you and
Walk with
you,
to the
you
rhythm of the music.
and it gets into their heart. It kind of echoes in this, pulmonary
Yeah.
heart chamber, and the composer, of course, knows that,
Yeah.
and so they have their own tricks of addressing that, so the people really feel that they enter the piece, like they actually know if it's
It
the
was so incredible. I
yeah.
really loved it. And you didn't have a ton of art though, not a ton of
Yeah,
photographs
so
there.
when on the projections, on the
Yeah.
multimedia
Yeah.
projections, so it was cinematic large scale. So it was
Mhm.
like 15-foot high by 60-foot
Right.
wide. So it's really large that way. And then we had the prints on a separate room because the projections you need to have the dark
It's
space.
such a it's that so
And then the
that's
prints were individually lit on a separate room.
so it's in China now.
In China
And then where
now.
is it going anywhere else?
And then I had the exhibition at the Elemental in Palm Springs.
You did?
Yeah, during the uh
They have a nice
Modernism Week,
Oh,
because
that's what it
because the
was. That's what you were
subject
doing
yeah,
there. Okay.
because the subject matter of that series King's Road is related to an architect and a mysterious lover. So it's architecturally based work.
Yeah, it's really
So that was
incredible.
really great. But to answer your question, there's a big circle. So what I'm working now is a whole series of images, stills photography that I have been putting together for many, many summers. So I worked on those images just during the summer and just when people feel that they would like to collaborate in something with me.
Hmm.
So it's something that took a long time to bring together, to have all those fruits of images coming together. And I did not want to rush that series. I was working on other series at other
Right.
moments, but that one was a very, 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 very slow pace.
And you did it in the summer?
And I did it in the summers when people feel comfortable in the
Yeah.
nude
Oh.
and it's outside in nature, so to speak.
Mhm.
And now I have a certain amount that really feels solid, and I think that it does touch a little bit ideas of mortality and immortality.
Mhm.
It does have certain contrasts
Mhm.
that are maybe a little bit more metaphysical, maybe. So I think it was important that it was a very slow pace in creating the
Where are you
series.
doing that at?
I was doing that in France,
Okay, that's
in
where
a
you were
place
going
that I
last
have
year.
there.
Yeah.
But my final touch this summer, because I had so much, because my brain opened so much with
Mhm.
all the photos and projections and collaboration with musicians and live performance, I don't want to give up on that. So this summer I'm working on doing a piece, a video piece
Okay.
to
From
accompany
that? Oh,
to
that's
accompany.
good.
It's not going to be as big as the previous one because I want to circle back and give more importance to the prints,
Yeah.
but I want to have a very, very solid and a very tight piece of video
I
to
love
go
the
with
video
it.
going with the art. I love just the
I
new
think it just adds on,
yeah.
and there is something to be said. I mean, I don't aspire being a movie
Right.
director. I mean, we're in Los Angeles, right?
Yeah.
So people talk about it. But I don't aspire that. I am a photographer. I like the single frame. I like the challenge of that. But when I put those videos together, it's something maybe in between.
Mhm.
It's like moving image maybe, but not, it doesn't have a certain narrative to
Yeah.
it. It's like it's a space in between that I'm exploring, that
Did
I'm
you
enjoying.
start doing photography when you were a young girl?
So So classic. I guess like most people, most photographers, got a camera at 12. It was a Kodak, one of those
Yeah.
like this, and went out and photographed. Uh, Spent the summer in Europe. I grew up in Brazil. My family's from Germany, and back then, every
That's
two
like Giselle,
years,
right? Brazilian
I
and yeah.
guess, yeah, I wish. Every 2 years, we would go and visit my grandparents
Mhm.
in Germany, and my parents would leave us with the grandparents for a little bit. And I'm gonna bring 2 points here for you because I think you're gonna enjoy it. So first of all, I would already age 8, 10,
Mhm.
12, would spend time with my grandparents. Summer time in Germany doesn't mean that it's sunny
Yeah.
because it could be overcast
Exact.
and it's
Europe in general.
continental
Yeah.
and the clouds are low and so on. And I remember my grandparents, the second a the clouds would part and a little ray of light would come through, they would completely disrobe
Oh, yeah.
and they would run to the garden.
Yeah,
They
I've
would run
seen that in
to the
Germany
and
before.
they would take a magazine with them, or they
Yeah.
would take the newspaper, and they would run and to their lounge chairs in the
Yeah.
garden, in the
I
nude.
have been in Germany
Yeah,
recently and we have been driving by a park and there's people just out there naked. I'm like, okay, I'm very American because that's just
yeah, but
we'd all go to jail if we did
yeah,
that here.
and well, it was their backyard, and
No, I'm
there was
talking
a
a public
hedge.
park.
Yeah, they also do in the open, yeah. But in this case, it was, protected by the hedge
Right.
and so on. So they felt comfortable
That's
and
cute. Your
easy.
grandparents?
My grandparents. So at age 8, and then they would look back into the house to my sister and
Mm.
I, and they would say, "Hurry, hurry! It's vitamin D."
Oh my God, that's
You know.
wild.
So the whole idea of nude for me always
It's
came from this
cool.
idea of,
It's
well,
healthy for you. It's vitamin D.
and also it was never about a show and tell of,
Yeah,
you don't need to be gorgeous. My exposure to it was my grandparents.
right.
I had a very natural relationship.
I never saw my
Yeah,
grandparents naked. I don't think
yeah,
like
yeah,
Chinese grandpa Chong
yeah.
and Hawaiian grandma Chong, never. But they
Well,
were really
although
shy.
although although I have gone to many Korean spas,
Oh yeah,
and they
but
have the
no,
Korean
but my
ladies.
I know
Yeah,
they're so not
and
shy.
they're
No, that
so aging, and you
I
have the younger
yeah, yeah.
generation scrubbing the back
I
of
love Korean
grandma.
spas. That's that I love
Yeah.
going to the Korean
So
spa.
for me, the nude was always more familial.
Yeah,
It was always something
and
in the
about being
family,
healthy and getting vitamin
and
D. Yeah,
and it
I
was
wish I was
about
taught that.
it was the presence to be alive.
Yeah,
It was just the idea that you're alive.
that's cool.
So that's where nudes in my mind, right?
Yeah,
It wasn't from when I graduated from college. It was Helmut Newton,
yes.
um, Herb Ritz. It was full figure. It was show and tell. There's a naked woman in front of me, and I'm capturing that. And that wasn't what I wanted.
You know, it's funny because I was just talking to Sylvie, who we both love it.
Yeah,
Sylvie was shot by Helmut Newton, and now she's at Herbert's studio.
I
She
know it's
that is.
amazing.
Have you
It
been
is
there?
amazing. No, I've never been there. I
Oh,
would
you
love
have to
to.
come over. She
Yeah, I
does
would
a little
love
part.
to.
We'll go over
Yeah.
there and we'll
Okay.
invite ourselves over.
Yeah,
So yeah, so
I love that.
it's a different mentality, the
Yeah.
European
So
way.
I wanted to do more about how does it feel?
Right.
How is it to be like,
I
and
love that you're coming from such a healthy background of nudity because there are
yeah.
the creepy people out here that shoot
Oh,
nudes just for the creepy,
yeah.
just to be kind of
And
slimy.
like you said, so in many of my books, I always try to include uh, an older person.
Hmm.
I In all of my books, you have an elderly person,
Yeah, the last person that should be nude.
and
Sorry,
in all my books, the wise nude,
the wise nude.
and in all of my books, you also have
I know,
guys.
I love
People
that.
people think I photograph mostly women,
Yeah,
but in all the books, there is only one book that maybe there is not a guy because it was just
it's
one
good that you do
solitary
that. No, I like
figure.
that you
Yeah,
do that, and
yeah.
everything's so tasteful and beautiful and gorgeous. I love your photographs so much. But you said there
And
were
I'm
two
not
things.
afraid of the
No,
guys.
I'd be terrified. I'd be like, put your clothes back on now, or get out of here. But I know I'm kind of a. It's like even though I'm half German, I have the Catholic upbringing that made me prudy. I'm
Yeah,
like I hate it. But
yeah,
now
yeah,
you said there were two things you're going to share with me. That
yeah. So it
when you
was the
started photography, so it was young when you were younger,
yes.
and
So
this.
then the second one
Hmm.
was when I received that, when my parents gave me at 12
Yeah.
the camera. I went to Germany uh, because it coincided to going to Germany, and then I had the camera, so I photographed a bunch of things. And then I came back and showed to my mother. And it was, you would go to the
Wow.
lab and you come back and you have the little pouch, the paper little pouch, and you open the paper pouch. And all the images that I took was all these historical buildings.
Wow.
And I remember that my mother looked so disappointed.
Oh, no.
She put all the pictures down and she looked at me and she said, "But there is no people."
Wow.
And I think that that really struck me.
That's cool.
It was like, "Oh," you know, it's like it was like you never know.
Yeah.
In a young mind, maybe I was 12 at the time.
But I think it's also cool that you were taking pictures of buildings,
Yeah,
like
I guess I was taking
historical
yeah,
buildings.
and I guess I always liked art history and I always
Yeah.
liked all those things. So I was taking, and I guess with your grandparents or with your family, they was, "Oh,
Yeah.
now we're gonna visit this building and that building in Europe," right? That's what you
Yeah.
do. You go to the middle age center of
Yeah.
the city. So I was photographing all those things, but
Where in Germany were you?
it was outside of Frankfurt
Okay.
and also a little bit Hamburg. So
Okay.
central and northern Germany.
That's where your family was from.
Yeah.
Did you spend a lot of time in São Paulo? Because I know you were born
So
there,
I
right?
was born in São Paulo, and
I wanna go there.
yeah, I love São Paulo. I mean, it's
You
like
have an
telling a New
unusual
Yorker.
accent, like, your accent's
It's a
not typical.
mix. Yeah, it's a
Yeah, I
mix.
know it's not like it's
Yeah.
'cause yeah.
So okay, so hold on. So I was born in São Paulo and lived there until I was 18.
See, that's what it is. Your voice almost has
Yeah.
a Latin sound to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I went so in at home very, very first language at home was German because both my parents are German. Then I went to kindergarten. All the kids spoke Portuguese. So then
Wow.
I got into Portuguese. And then I went to a school in Brazil. And of course I was also raised to whatever country you are, you try to speak the language,
Right.
right? Either you try because you live there, or even if you're just visiting Italy.
Yeah.
I mean, make an effort, use a few words,
Yeah.
be nice. So I have always tried to do that. And so in at, at my house in Brazil, even though my parents both are German, we started then as I started
Speaking
school to
Portuguese.
speak Portuguese
So you
because
speak German, Portuguese, and English. And what
yes,
else?
and
Anything
then
else?
and then a little French.
Lucky you. I speak
Yeah.
English and English and English.
Well, English will get you far. It's okay.
I
If
know,
you could pick one, that's the one.
but my name's Paris. I'm German, and I'm like, oh, it's so embarrassing.
I mean,
I
it's
do want to learn a foreign
amazing.
language. It's on my bucket list. So I need to get that app you can listen to in the car.
It's very good.
But that's the only time I get to talk on the phone is in the car because that's the only time I have any privacy anywhere. Because at
But
home there's people, at work there's
but
people.
I think you learn languages when there's a need.
Yeah, if you're there. But I mean, I've spent so much time in like Paris, and I still didn't. I mean, I didn't really pick up the French quickly. I don't know why, but
Well, but you
um,
see, so when I came to the US, so my final year of high school in Brazil, I then started realizing my father got uh uh he got from working in Brazil, the same company brought him to the US,
mhm,
and then it became this opportunity for me to come and study in the US. So that became this idea, oh, okay, so now we have a chance, and he was working in Ohio, that's why I went to Ohio
that's wild.
State.
I know. I was gonna say, how did you end up in
Yeah,
Ohio? Is that so
because he
random?
was there,
Yeah.
and I mean, he was 2 hours away,
Mhm.
but still, that's how Ohio became a point of reference. And I came when I was 18, and I still remember I studied English in the last year to enter the university and
That's
pass the
great.
exams, but I was studying English in Brazil. So you study for 1 hour, you have the class, you do the homework, you do the exam, and then
Yeah.
you're 90% of your time you're speaking Portuguese. It was when I entered the university, when I was at the dorms with a roommate, where I have to wake up in the morning, I open my eyes, and the first thing I need to say is in English, "Good morning," where my brain has to kind of go there.
Yeah.
It's that kind of need that I think pushes you
Yeah.
to get into the language.
Your husband's German,
He's German, yeah.
and your son is born in America.
So Martin was born here in Los Angeles.
Okay, so he speaks English, German, and Portuguese?
Yeah, I thought it was so amazing.
Yeah.
He started tiny little thing and already spoke English.
Yeah.
I was just like, people say, does he speak Portuguese? I'm like, no, it's a miracle. He already
That's
speaks
so great.
English.
I know I'm trying to get Leo. I'm like, Leo, please learn a foreign language. I'm so mad at myself that I haven't. So I'm just super happy that you came in today.
Oh my
And
God, I love
I'm a
being
big,
here.
humongous fan of such a fan. We met at the Palm Springs Photo
Yeah.
Festival and Mona Kuhn. I'm like, I can't believe
Oh,
it.
please, you make me feel special.
I know
Thank
you
you.
are special.
No, we
You're
try.
so
You know,
talented.
this whole thing. I think I mean, as a message for people, right? I think that it's a lot of hard work. It's just commitment.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hard
Yeah, it
work,
is a lot of
and
hard work.
yeah,
Doing a podcast is hard work. Being a gallery director is hard work. People think it looks so
yeah.
glamorous. It's hard
No,
work.
no, it's hard
People are shocked when
work.
they see me running around putting up the photos
And
and
also the willingness, if
yeah,
something doesn't work
yeah,
out behind the scene, are you
yeah,
gonna pick
yeah.
up the pieces and make it work somehow?
That's right. That's
It's a
right.
lot of that.
Yeah.
And showing up.
Yeah. Thank you for showing up for me today.
Oh my
I was
God,
like
it's
so
my
happy that you
pleasure.
said yes. I'm like, I want Mona to come
Oh,
in.
stop it. It's
You're
my
one of my
pleasure.
artsy fartsy friends. You had to come in. So we have more surprises coming your way later with Mona, but we'll tell you about that later. And I'm just so happy we're here, and I'm so happy you're
Thank
listening.
you.
And if you want to see more of Mona's work, and this is one of her beautiful books, you can find her
Yes. Oh my
books
God, I love that one.
at monakuhn.com.
Yes, my website on Amazon or at the
Amazon, Mona Kuhn.
publisher's websites.
And then we're going to be carrying them at Leica as well. I think I put you in touch with our guy who's
Yes.
ordering the books. Okay,
I'll
and
be
then you
doing
could see.
dedications.
I don't know when this comes out, but May 11th at the Getty, you could still see some of your books.
Oh,
Yeah.
so good.
So I hope
Thank
you enjoy
you.
the rest of your day. Thank you. And thank you everyone for listening to the Paris Chong Show. And thank you for being a good boy, Disco.
Disco rocks.
I know. He sat like that with Billy Zane the whole show too.
It's such a
He loves
blessing.
it. I know he's so good. I just
He's
don't
just like, he's like, you're my friend.
I
I feel upset.
It's the Paris Chong Show. It's the Paris Chong Show. It's the Paris Chong Show. It's the Paris Chong Show.